If you're like me in your 20s, one of the biggest purchases you'll make in this decade of your life is a car. Cars are necessary in the modern world, especially in the United States, because we do not have the same level of public transportation infrastructure that is present in other countries, like in Europe, outside of our biggest cities. Of course, if you live in those big city metro areas, like New York City, Washington, D.C., or Chicago, you could probably get away without having a car. But if you live anywhere else in the US, then it becomes one of the number one things that keeps people from getting ahead financially. Today, I'm going to break down some of the commonly accepted methods and strategies for buying a car in a financially prudent way. Before I get into these methods, drop a like and subscribe to the channel. I also need to mention that I'm not a financial advisor and not in any way certified, but I'm just here to help people to the best of my ability. There are generally 3 different methods for determining how much car you can afford. So let's just take a look at these one at a time. All right. Method number 1. This is what I'm going to call the Dave Ramsey method. This is the method you don't really need me to explain to you, as is it's innate to you. Whatever cash you have available to put towards a vehicle, that should be the total price you pay for the car. In other words, buy the car in cash. If you don't have the cash to buy it outright, then you cannot afford it. Dave Ramsey also mentions that a good rule of thumb to limit the excess of this, if you're very cash heavy, is that all vehicles, cars, boats, ATVs, etc., when all added up, the total worth should not exceed half of your annual take-home pay. So let's say you work a job that pays you $50,000 a year. Half of that is $25,000. The sum total of all your vehicles should not exceed $25,000 in value. Reasonably though, you may make $50K, but don't have $25K in cash to buy a $25K car. And that's perfectly fair. The first part of this rule reigns supreme over the second part. Half the salary rule is not a true maxim in Dave's worldview, like the paying in cash rule, because people retire and people have weird income years and switch jobs or reach savings goals and go into another career like barista fire and so forth. The main part of this method is that you should only buy what you can pay for outright. Proverbs 22:7 says that the borrower is slave to the lender. Dave is taking this as true. This method works great for people's ease of mind. You don't have to worry about paying a monthly car payment, and you don't have to have that money taken out of your monthly income every month, freeing up more money to put into the market and retirement accounts to compound over time. This may not be satisfactory to some because they may have mismanaged their money, and it's impossible to find a running vehicle for less than $3,000 these days. So in comes method number 2 to get you a better vehicle while still keeping you on track financially. Method number 2, the 23-8 rule. The 23-8 rule is a more aggressive version of the 24-10 rule. The 23-8 rule basically states that you need to put at least 20% down, have the loan be no longer than 3 years, and have the total payments each month be no more than 8% of your take-home pay. So for example, if you want to buy a $15,000 used Toyota Tundra with 200,000 miles from 2012 or so, because that's how much those things go for these days, then you would have to put down at least $3,000. Have the loan be no longer than 3 years, and you'd have to be netting at least $4,500 a month or so to make the $360 a month payment be 8% of your take-home income or less. This is aggressive and is probably not the answer you're looking for. Recently, I had to buy a vehicle unexpectedly. My old car started smoking and burning something or other. So I took it in, and some part internal is overheating. So to even do the inspection and truly figure out what was wrong, the labor would cost more than the car is worth. So I said goodbye to that vehicle, and I got myself a 2005 Toyota Sequoia. I'm an electrical engineer, and my take home is something like $4,500 a month after 401k and insurance. So I was able to buy myself a nicer car. But I stuck with the Dave Ramsey method and just bought what I could pay for outright in cash. If I were to follow the 23-8 rule, I would have put down something like 45 or 50% on a Model 3. So I could drive a nicer car, but still keep the payment at 8% or less of my net income. In all honesty, cars are the number one wealth killer in the United States. Cars are neither an asset nor an investment, but they are a liability. If everyone got rid of all car loans outright by the end of day today, the car industry would tank and people would be able to buy cars that they can afford again people's net worths over time would skyrocket. I see so often where people are making $100,000 a year and they are living paycheck to paycheck when you don't have control over the money that is coming into your account every month through, student loans, credit card debt, mortgage, extremely overpriced rent, and all your money's already allocated before you even get it. Then it doesn't surprise me that you're having a hard time gathering savings and investing in the market so you can take advantage of compound interest, which is ultimately what leads people to not be financially successful. Within reason, there's a good shot that if you drive cars you can actually afford, then you'll be ahead of most of your peers. Look at this example. The average car payment in the United States for a used car is now at over $500. Many people go car loan after car loan for their entire lives and never drive a paid off car. The most value you get out of your car is how long you're able to drive it without a payment. If you were to invest that $500 a month every month, assuming a 7% return, which is a safe assumption over long periods of time, then you'd have almost $600,000 in 30 years. This is why taking control of your primary money builder, your income, is the key to financial success. Now, this third method number 3, you see commonly, but I don't necessarily agree with. Method number 3 is called the 35% rule. I don't really like this rule, but I think this rule is for people who just feel like they take a lot of pride in their vehicle and they can't stomach being able to drive a much older car for peer pressure's sake or whatever, for what have you, and they're willing to pay for it. 35% rule is hard and fast and very simple. Take your income, your gross income, and take 35% of that. That's the max price you should pay for your car. Take, for example, somebody making $65,000 a year. 35% of $65,000 is almost $23,000. Now, that's a lot of car for somebody making $65,000, but is just on the line of not being financially irresponsible. So you can make this decision in good faith without it ruining your future, but you're on the so-called bleeding edge in my eyes. But that's it for me. I'll see you guys next time.